15 minutes is all it takes to jumpstart your day as powerful entrepreneurs share what they do so you can be successful too. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Success. Hello, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Dr. Lotus Riché, for your 15 Minutes of Success. And today is going to be another great show. Have you ever wanted to build your life by design and not by default? Well, today I have a fantastic guest that's going to help you do just that. So let me tell you a bit about my guest here today. Our guest is the owner and chief designer at AKG Design Studio. She has traveled throughout the world. She has talked with some of the top people when it comes to design, not just designing your environment, your home, but also designing life. And today she is here with us to help you design not just your home, but she's going to give us some tips and tools and techniques to help you design your life by design. So with no further ado, let's take care of some housekeeping. Go ahead and use your phone. And if you have not shared the broadcast out yet, go ahead and use your phone. Pull the phone out of your pocket. Yes, I know you might have a phone in your briefcase. Okay. You might have a phone in your purse. Go ahead and pull all those phones out. All those phones, and go ahead and tag a friend and tell them to come on in, because this is 15 Minutes of Success with my guest, the chief designer at AKG Design Studio, none other than Anna Gibson. We'll be right back. Please welcome to the show, founder and principal designer at AKG Design Studio, Anna Gibson. It's a great day in every way. Hello, Anna. Great.
Yes, it is. Hi, how are you? Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. What a wonderful day to be here, and really appreciate you are having me as your guest today.
All right. So listen, I can't say enough about how you're helping people design their homes, and it really means a lot because you're helping them to create a life by design and not by default. But you're also known as the space alchemist. So tell us a bit about, one, how you got that name.
Well, my clients always tell me that I bring magic to their space. So it is magical, and the transformation that is happening is just so all consuming for their life. That's how I got the title. That so I am the space alchemist. I bring all the ingredients from your life to create the lifestyle and the space that you need. So a lot of designers out there, like, I'm not going to name names, but they're very, very specific. They have their style. They have how they do things, not how their clients want things done. And I would say, superimpose their lifestyle, their love for a specific color or style into their clients. And we actually work backwards with our clients. We take a long time to learn what is our clients' lifestyle, what is going to make them happy. Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? Do they cook? Do they not cook? Do they like to shower or bathe? I'm like, we get really intimate with our clients. So we need to be very careful with their details and make sure that we take all these ingredients and translate it into beautiful and functional spaces that they can enjoy for years to come.
I absolutely love that. And one thing that you said that really stuck out with me is that you don't just do things your way, you do it the way that your client wants it. You really design a signature style for them and a life.
Absolutely.
And I like that
Absolutely.
you go that extra step to find out, hey, what is your lifestyle? Do you cook? Do you not cook? Do you have children? Do you not have children? Do you have what I call fend for yourself? Some nights you have to fend for yourself. Mommy's not cooking. And so one of the key things that I loved about you when I first met you was your ability to connect with people and really hear their heart and hear their story. And in order for you to go in and really help people from a personal space, you just really got to sit and have that full body listening and hear their story. So, what inspired you to get into interior designing and helping people change their life for the best of their life?
So I think it's like it was meant to be, like my favorite game as a kid was Legos, and I always like, since I remember myself, my first toy was actually not even Lego, it was like wooden blocks. So and my dad is a civil engineer, so I grew up on construction sites. My
Yes.
mom is a lay interior designer. I don't think we ever moved to a house before she moved the the kitchen from one side of the house to another.
Mhm.
Even now that I was in a quick vacation to visit them, I was helped them remodel their own bathroom, which my mom already remodeled like
Wow.
4 or 5 times in the last 25 years, but now they're actually making it accessible. So it was a funny conversation because my dad is standing there over engineering the project, and I'm trying to infuse the design part of it.
Yes.
Uh, so, so yeah, so it was really kind of like meant to be. And I always loved playing with spaces. And I think this is also because I'm a daughter of an engineer. That's why I also look at the spaces for our clients from a very different perspective, because I really want to see how they're going to use the space, how they're going to enjoy it. And anyone out there has, can pop on Pinterest or House and pick up some really great colors, but and put it together. But if the space is not functional, it's
Right.
really not worth the effort that we're putting into it. So I always tell my clients, I always joke with them, like, look, you bought a, really super fancy car
Yeah.
and you don't like it, like you're going to drive it tomorrow to the dealership and just get a new one, right? But if you got a kitchen that you love the color, but it's not functional and it's not working for what you're going to do, or you're going to get really mad every morning you go into your bathroom, or you're trying to host your friends and there's not enough room and everybody's in the way, you can't just go back to the shop. Most of the
That's
people
right.
don't remodel their spaces, especially when it comes to larger projects. They
Mhm.
don't remodel more than 10, 15 years at a time, right?
Right. Mhm.
So it really needs to make sure that it's a really concentrated effort to make sure that we do everything correctly for our clients. Like
Ex-
talking about success, like
Yes.
we remodel our lives, once in a while, but we're not remodeling them every year, right? We go through a
Exactly right.
process, right? We go through a
Exactly.
process, and the process takes time, and then we stick to the process, and we find what's on the other side of our personal success, and
Mhm.
we stick to it until it's not working again. But it's
Right.
not something that we're doing every year. I hope not. So,
Mhm.
so it really needs to be done correctly the first
Mhm.
time.
Right. So here's something I wanted to share. And I see many people you're streaming in. You're streaming in from, I see the Pearl of the Orient. Hi, we see you. We see you from the Philippines and Kosovo and just so many people from all over. I wanted to take a moment to take this comment um, because Kerr says that this is interesting. Interior designing is about creating environments that serve their purpose. And you touched on that because, like, when we go into a kitchen, we want the kitchen to be functional for us. We want it to serve its purpose. So when you go into a place and the kitchen or any part of the living space is not serving its purpose, how do you help the homeowners overcome that? Because like you said, that's pretty daunting. I mean, you can go turn that car back in, but once you're in that kitchen space and you get this overhaul, you kind of can't turn it back in, so to speak.
Right, absolutely. And and that's where the magician comes over. So I obviously I've been doing it for over 20 years. So some of it is inherited talent, some of it is education, a lot of it is education. Like as you noted, I travel all around the world. I made sure that, especially because we are such in a, you know, I hate to see it, but for the people that live in the US, we are our own market. And it takes a
Yes.
lot of time for the design trends and influences to come from Europe and actually take hold here. So
Right.
again, I always joke, my mom has a great kitchen, but she installed it like 25 years ago. Like
Right.
we had great kitchens, what, like 5 years ago? So that's why I want, I make sure that I keep on top of the trends, whether it's design, colors, throughout the whole world. So when I bring it to my client and I
Mhm.
look at a space, I can really already envision what is going to be looking at. So we create usually 2, 3 layouts for a client,
Mhm.
and then we go through them together and see what's the benefit of each layout and how it's going to be purposeful for their lifestyle,
Right.
whatever it may be. Because, as I said, everybody has a different purpose for their kitchen. I had a client that he was a single, say, older guy, and he was not planning to cook, but
Mhm.
he still wanted a nice kitchen. So when we looked at appliances, we look at appliances that have really cool feature of how to actually cook or actually even reheat your food better. So then when he comes back from the restaurant or order the pizza, he's using a steam oven that kind of brings that pizza back to life, and it feels like it's like he just received
You
it.
just got
So
it. Right. Mhm.
yeah, he just had it. And same thing is for, bathroom or any other space in the house. We really want to make sure that we create several designs. We go through that with the clients, make sure that they understand why we're doing what we're doing. In my Ein's my, I can already see the space, but we provide 3D drawings and illustration for the clients to make sure that they can walk through that and can take a look and understand the idea behind what we're trying to propose. And most of the time, and I really do try to push the envelope as well, because again, you've been living in the space for so long, you know what is your pain point, but at the same
Right.
time, you are not really, you think that you know the solutions, but seeing it with
But
fresh
don't.
eyes, this is what kind of, brings a
Right.
whole different solution to it. And I usually do tend to surprise them with what we come up with. And 99% of the time, they're like, okay, yes, let's do it. Let's go with that option.
So here's a question I have for you, and we've
Mhm.
got some questions in the audience too. So we're gonna get to their questions as well because this is really important. So the quick question I had is because we have so many people from multiple countries here. We saw Ghana's in the house. We saw um, Philippines is in the house. We've got the US and so many other people around the world. But you're originally from Jerusalem, right?
Yes. Yeah. I
Israel.
was just
So,
there. Yeah.
so
So I'm originally from the region. That's where I grew up. I've
right.
been in the US for 25 years. So,
So that brings us to this. There's a different style in Jerusalem. There's a different
yes.
style in Kosovo. We have someone on from Kosovo. There's a different style in the United States, the Philippines, Africa. We have Africa in the house. But you somehow, again, you take it back to your clients. It's like that that excellent doctor that has that wonderful bedside manner, because sometimes people, they want to do what they want to do for you and not what you want them to do for you. And
Yeah.
so how do you kind of bridge that gap when you're dealing with people from so many places in the world? Because I know you've traveled all around the world doing what you do, But how do you bridge that gap here in the United States? Because a lot of us in the United States, especially those of us that have not traveled and become accustomed to seeing so many different styles of designing one's life by design rather than by default, are not aware of certain things, but you educate them. So how do you do that with such grace?
I do my best to educate. As I said, I literally just came back from Israel, and I actually came from Spain as well. I was a guest of the Tile of Spain in one of the biggest style shows in Spain. So I can talk to you later about all the cool styles and materials that are coming. But this is really what I try to do, and I think this is where I attract my clients, because they know that they're not going to get out of the box solution. They're not going to get a copycat from a Pinterest, from a HGTV show. And I love these guys. A lot of my friends are actually on HGTV. So, but they understand that they are going to get something very, very unique to them. And that really depends on the client, because some clients do want that out of box. For me, like you said, it's sitting with the client, developing relationship with them. I actually become really good friends with a lot of my clients. We end up traveling the world together. We end up, going to dinners in each other's home. But I do take the time to listen to my client, listen to their needs, listen to their story, listen to what is happening in their lives. So then when it's time for me to make my recommendations, it's really a non-brainer for them. But I bring my ideas, but I also listen to them very, very deeply. And this is what makes the whole difference, because then they're ready and open for the solution that I'm bringing. And we incorporate as much as possible what they want in their space. So for example, we just had a client that we really did a whole design for her, and it was pretty much done deal. We put that project on hold. Then we decided that we're going to do a couple of other spaces in the house, get the spaces for her girls ready first before we jump. And then when we started to look at that design again, she's like, you know what? After looking at everything, I think I went too wild, too much. I want something much more classic, more timeless. And so we definitely rolled something back. And I think we're going to be revealing that project in next month or so. It's almost done, and it's absolutely going to be stunning. But again, it was about listening to the client and willing to go back and redo some parts of that project for her to make sure that when she comes into that bathroom every morning, she is enjoying it. Especially bathrooms, right? It's the first place we walk in the morning, the last place, before we jump to bed. So it really is such a personal space. A lot of very deep conversation, very intimate conversations about how you use it, especially if you're sharing it with a partner. And it really, really needs to have a really good conversation and feeling comfortable, because you're talking about stuff that you usually don't talk to anyone other than your husband or even yourself, right?
Exactly. That's true. So listen, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we like you. If you have not shared the broadcast out yet, go ahead and take a moment to share the broadcast out, because many of our supporters and viewers, you all have some great questions. And when we come back, we're going to take some questions for you, and we're going to put Anna in the hot seat. We'll be right back.
I had the opportunity to work with Lotus Riché and her team to create a promo video for my business. And let me tell you, she and her team are pretty darn outstanding. I had recorded a video that we were going to use in the promo. And during our meeting, they actually walked me through what worked in the video, and they provided suggestions for improving the video so that I can actually capture the audience and the clients that I want, and the people that need my services. They actually told me what I could add to the video and how to set the entire thing up so that when people watch that promo, they will come away knowing who I am, what I do, and why they should contact me. So if you have the chance to work with Lotus Riché and her team, you are not going to be disappointed.
I absolutely love that commercial. But here's something that I also want to share with you. You'll get the opportunity to work with Anna and her team, and you will not be disappointed. And we're going to share her website with you right here so you can look at some of the beautiful work and designs that she's doing. But as promised, we said that we were going to take some questions from you. So we're going to take a quick moment to take some questions. And first things first, let's take this question. So it looks like Ms. K from the Philippines said, is there a principle in space design that you also relate to design of life? That's a great question.
That is a really good question. I would say balance. Yeah, I would say balance. You know, design needs to be balanced, whether it is like you see behind me, we have a lot of color and flowers, but at the same time we have some darker, more subdued areas. So it's all about balance and also priorities. So, you know, in your life you also need to balance everything. It's kind of hard to balance things in life and to build your success, but you create priorities. And so, yes, I would say balance and priorities. We use them both in designing your own life and also designing spaces.
All right, fantastic. And we see Emilio in from New Jersey. Hey, great to see you, Emilio. And Maurice says, some time ago, I thought interior design wasn't so important because you can just do the color picking and blending yourself until I saw an experienced interior designer do their magic. Really amazing stuff. And you know, it's amazing also because you talked about how you're really transforming these spaces.
Right.
Because I've been in spaces where it's been empty, and then someone like yourself comes in and you turn that space into such a warm and inviting space, and like people never want to leave. You have to send them home.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly what we talked about is say like you can, I'm sure you have a neighbor or a sister or a brother or just pop into Pinterest and create a really, really beautiful space with beautiful colors. But if the space is not functional and if the space is like you really just copycat from something else, you will always see that something is not absolutely finished. Because as interior designer, beyond that just the space, we look at the details. We look at the little things that you're not going to see and you're not going to pay attention. And this is where the next level of working with interior designer comes to life when we're working on your project, because there's a lot of little things that you might think, oh, it's going to work out, or you're not going to pay attention to it. When we see that and we realize what it is, and you're like, oh wow, okay. And that what takes the space from ordinary to absolutely stunning.
I love it. So we have another question. So we're going to take this question. And that question is, let me go back up to it. Miss Anna, what is the process of research for people from different backgrounds? Like, what should they really be doing to really understand how to I guess market or work for someone else? That's all these questions. Wow, great questions, everybody.
Okay. Sorry, can you just clarify the answer? Like, what are we talking? Are we talking about like design? We're talking about.
So, what is the process of research for people from different backgrounds? So, I'm thinking that the question is there a level of research that you had to do so that you could understand the people that you're working with, so that you could really deliver to them?
Oh, absolutely. Diversity is really extremely important for us. We believe in diversity and we design for people with different backgrounds and different abilities. Again, because I traveled the world so much, I everywhere I go, I try to take cooking classes. I try to engage with the actual community. I try to volunteer. I really try to take a step beyond being just your basic tourists that go to the attraction and really get to know the people, get the culture, and bring it back with me. Beyond that, I'm also CLIP certified, which is, they keep changing the name of that certification, but maybe 10 years ago, it would have been your ADA at home, which is people with different abilities. So CLIP this time, the final, I hope the final name, it's Certified Living in Space, which means that we all have different abilities and different needs in our spaces. It makes us unique and it makes us special. But that doesn't mean that a kitchen design or bathroom design has to be exactly the same. So we have a client that had vision issues. So we made sure that we had really, really good lighting in the space, different type of lighting, but also we had a lot of play with colors and really big distinguish between the flooring and the countertop and the cabinetry. So he can actually, as his vision gets blurrier and worse over the years, he has those points where he can actually see, oh, this is my countertop. This is a dark space. My floor is a little bit lighter. So there's a lot of different things that we can do for our clients that I'm certified in that to make sure that we address those different needs when we are designing the spaces for them. Absolutely. It is very, very important. And actually, a lot of the time, we employ a lot of these things in our day-to-day designs just because people don't realize that those are really health and safety, like a lot of things that just help you on regular basis, even if you don't have a vision issue, even if you don't have a walk-in issues. But it's actually so much easier to operate that type of drawer, or it's so much easier to operate appliances in that kind of way that it's much easier and safer for you. You don't need to have a specific issues in order for us to do that. Also, because people do tend to stay, at least in our area and also in Europe, in their home for much longer, we want to make sure that they can stay in their house for the next 5, 10, 20 years and enjoy it. So why not starting and redo these things now when we're already doing the remodel? So if, God forbid, something happened down the road, your house is ready. So maybe do bigger door frame to your bathroom so it's easier for you to walk in and out. Embrace the whole curbless shower situation where you can just go in and out with ease, or somebody can help you. So many years ago, my husband, he used to play rugby. He broke his leg. He was lucky there was a leg left. But for 3 months, he could not, he couldn't put any weight into his on his leg, and that created a problem. And he was a young person. He was very strong, but at the same time, hopping over the curb out of a wet shower or in, that created a lot of issues. And now we had to put a stool in there, and how we get a grab bar in there. So there was a lot of things that it doesn't have to be an age related. There's a lot of things that even I work with a lot of triathletes and triathlons and athletes. And sometimes after a whole day of working out, you feel like 100 years old, and you really can.
Yeah, you tired. You want to just relax. And I remember your husband was telling me when he broke his leg. So I know that could not have been fun. But thankfully, you knew what to do to kind of help things move along strategically. And we have another question. Wow. Can you give a simple tip in making small spaces appear bigger?
Yes. So usually for small spaces, we like to use bigger designs, bigger pieces, and make the spaces, the color a little bit more cohesive. So instead of going with a lot of different colors, maybe keep it, I wouldn't say monochrome, but keep it on the same range of colors. So then
Right.
when you walk in, it all looks like one almost piece. And you can play with the different texture that you're using for the floor, for the walls, for the cabinetry. You can use something a little bit different, but at the same time, you're using similar colors, so then
Right.
it looks like one big space.
Right.
Also, for kitchens, we try to use open cabinetry, glass cabinetry, anything that will draw your eyes to go a little bit further out, versus kind of like you see the bar behind me, it draws your eye to go a little bit further into the space versus blocking it with a lot of heavy cabinetry or a lot of heavy design up front.
I love
That's a
that. And
great question.
yeah, that was an excellent question as well. And one thing that I remember when I bought my first home, I cut out the cabinet and put glass in them because it
Absolutely. Yep.
opened the space up. And
Yep.
like this is a couple of her designs, and you'll see it's scrolling kind of. But I like how, see, there's a glass shower and that amazing tub, and that really makes the space open. And then you have the fireplace. I love that you put it in the wall. I remember when we were doing a makeover for a home many years ago on the television show. I was one of the electricians that was just fortunate to work on the the, the program with it, transforming that house. That was the first time that I ever saw a fireplace in the wall, like you used right there, and that really gives a certain ambiance, but it also is a space saver. So I love what you're doing when you're saving space. How critical is that when it comes to the living area, giving it a larger look when you do things like that with the fireplace in the wall?
It's really super important, and we don't shy away from small spaces. We do a lot of small spaces as well. Even this, if if anyone ever wants to see that blue kitchen, that before, you would be absolutely shocked. Like, it was the tiniest little kitchen. This is a neighborhood in Arlington, Virginia, but we do a lot of projects there in Furlington, and those are homes that were built in the 40s.
Oh wow.
And those are the tiniest little kitchens. So this was a family with two very young, very active boys, and mom needed to be able to cook and connect with them. So really removing some of the walls, creating that openness between the kitchen, and we still created a big amount of island and space for them to be able to gather and cook and be. It's really important. We're actually working on another project in that neighborhood right now,
Mhm.
creating a whole new primary suite in the attic. So talking about exercise in putting a teeny home inside an attic. So I'm really excited. That's going to be a long time and a long while, but if you're on Instagram or YouTube, make sure you follow along on that project so you can see how that is coming along, because that is really just taking advantage of every tiny bit inch of that space to make it happen. So I'm really excited about that project.
And there we see again where you have a spot where you've said, okay, you want a wine cabinet. Okay, we're going to give you a wine cabinet. We're going to use exactly what you have to go ahead, and we've got some folks saying beautiful. If you love what you're saying, go ahead and put a 10 in the comments. So you can take the existing cabinets and turn them into a little wine rack right there, and you're saving space. I think that is so beautiful. So wow, yes, I absolutely love it. What was one? Oh, we had this question for you. Is there a heavy challenge when you work with old properties and you have these walls and beams for a load bearing wall? How do you overcome something like that?
So at that point, when we work with that, we actually team up with our architect and usually an engineer. And we really try to make sure that we make the best of it. And sometimes it really is coming of the mind. So for example, that attic project that I was just telling you about, we really like standing in that attic, me, the architect and engineer, and trying to figure out what's actually going to be the best beams to use for the space, because there was like a certain brick that I really, really wanted to get rid of it because it is taking space, as I said, from a really small area.
Right.
And the engineer's like, okay, no, we can do that. We can put a metal beam. We can work with that. And
Right.
then we even talked about like, how are we going to get these beam out there? So what is the flexibility? What is the different materials? What we can do? But it's really important for me, even though it has nothing to do with the actual interior design, but as somebody that is responsible for that space, it's really important for me because at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one needing to work around those.
Right.
So this is where we collaborate with our contractors, with our engineers, with our architects to make sure that we understand what is going to happen with those beams and how they're going to be executed and what is the best. And sometimes it's a matter of me of advocating for the client and for the
Right.
design and pushing them to make sure that they find me the best
Right.
idea, the best solution that is going to work for the design. Because again, a lot of times they're trying to just go the easy route.
Right.
You
But
know,
what
like, yeah, we'll
happens,
just stuck it out.
right?
Right.
But
You
what
know,
happens is when you take them to the right route, not the easy
yep,
route, it turns
yep,
out as a sheer work of art. And so
absolutely.
I love that people can come here and they can actually look at the project, um, how it started out and how it ended up, and they can really connect with you on a one-to-one basis. You sit down and you talk to people about their spaces, about what's going to work in their life. You make it very, very personal, very custom, in a place where in the morning when they wake up, it's going to be a place that they love to be in. And again,
Absolutely.
it's a life by design. So I absolutely love that. And so we got a lot of tens in the chat.
Thank you, everybody. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. For those of you that are just joining us, if you missed the start of the program, please go ahead and hit the replay. We've got the amazing um, Anna Gibson here, and she is one of the best people you're going to be able to find that's doing work. She's not only the owner and the chief designer at AKG Design Studio, but she is a woman that will sit with you and talk to you. As you saw earlier, she'll go over your color palette. She'll ask you, what is your intention for the space? What do you hope to create? And it doesn't matter if it's a big space or a small space, you're in the right place when you connect with Anna, because she can definitely turn your small space and turn your small dream into a big creation of art. So, as we always do, Anna, at 15 minutes of success, you've given so many tips, so many of the audience today was like, hey, we have questions for you. So, Anna, what would you say is one of the biggest things that you would want to leave the audience with today, as far as those in the design space? Because no matter what vocation we're in, we can always learn something from someone else who's in the same space.
I would say whether it's personal or um, design in the design space, whether it's personal or not, it's all about priorities, right? It's setting the right priorities for your life, priorities for your clients, priorities for your kids. Everything is just priorities. You know, it's balance is awesome, but it's sometimes really hard to find a balance. But that's why it's all about the priority. Is like, you know, sometimes is making the list of the top 5 things that are absolutely the must have in your project, and then maybe have 5 more that are it would be awesome to have. Same thing goes to your life, right? Like, what is your priority in your personal life, in your professional life? What is it? What is that top priorities, and how they correlate to you feeling successful and happy as a person. And from there, you develop everything on top of that.
I absolutely love it. And so we definitely want you to connect with Anna today. You see, I'm leaving her beautiful face up there so you can see her. Connect with Anna today. And what's the best way for everyone to connect with you?
Yeah, so we're on all social media, and we also have a new team. So there's a lot of more content coming. So if you want to see more of my face and a lot of more content, we're on YouTube at Design Tips and Sips. And we're not live, but again, Design Tips and Sips. Beyond that, we're on Instagram. You can send me message there as well. You can also hop on our website, send me emails from there if you need to. We also host a lot of events at our studio. So check out the event. So if you are local to the DC metro area, we at least once a month have some kind of event coming up. So you're more than welcome to come and meet with us and hang out. And we usually have some fun cocktail. So yeah, that's where we are.
So
on Instagram, we are the AKG Design Studio. There are unfortunately two of us. Long story, but on Instagram, we are the AKG Design Studio.
All right, the AKG Design Studio. Okay, so make sure you hit her up on IG. All right. Yeah. So I got a quick question. So why don't we go ahead and do a live where I actually come out to your design studio and the audience gets to see something live time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we'd love to. Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, if you guys, your audience want to send us some emails, or even, let's pick a space. Okay. You guys have to email Dr. Lotus and send us your space, whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, family room, whatever it is. And then we're going to pick one lucky winner. And then we are going to video that in our studio, and we'll show you our process, how we work. And you'll get to have that. And maybe we'll have you also, whether if you're local, we'll have you here. If not, we'll have you at the studio so you can actually see and we can communicate with you and go from there.
I love it.
What do you guys think?
Absolutely. And don't forget to visit her page. Go to her page. Here it is, the AKG Design Studio.
Yes.
Make sure you click that.
The one and only.
I did. Make sure you click that follow and make sure you leave her a message. You can go right to the message. And I'm going to say, it was great. It was great.
Yay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
On 15 minutes. Let me get that right. Minutes of success. So don't meet me there, beat me there. Go ahead and leave her a message. And then don't forget, look at all these beautiful designs. Look at the before and after and leave her a message. And I'm going to heart. Look at that. Wow. That is amazing. So until we meet again, we just want to thank each and every one of you where you're streaming in from. We got some wows in there, and Ava says she loves this. And so listen, we want you to stay in contact with us, and don't forget, this is how we do it on 15 Minutes of Success. We do things to wow you, but also to inspire you and empower you, because sometimes it only takes 15 minutes of success to have the success that you richly deserve. So until we see you again, be blessed. Don't stress, don't take no mess, and always do your best as you ignite and take flight in the 15 minutes of success of your life. Ciao. Thank you for watching the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring that bell so you won't miss a thing. And we'll see you on the next episode of 15 Minutes of Success, where powerful entrepreneurs share what they do so you can be successful too. If you want to be a guest on the show, please connect with us at lotus@lotusricheignites.com, and we'll see you on the other side of 15 Minutes of Success.
Success is in the eye of the beholder. See it, create it, and be it.